morning, Afghanistan. Beautiful day, beautiful drive to work. Made it across on the ferry. I love it out here when I'm on the road by myself. I know that maniac bus driver is going to be right behind me here pretty soon, though. Like the bus driver from hell. What was on my mind today was I read an article and heard some reports, other reports, of the airports. They're going to pull out the x-ray machines, scanners machines. And it's not because they expect less terrorism, let me tell you that. This is all a money-making thing. For the same people that invested in the companies that made the x-ray scan machines are the same people that voted and made it mandatory for all American airports to have them installed. Now what they're going to do is they're going to remove them, but people have to, the technology for camera system has been making tremendous strides, tremendous. Now they can take a camera system, and that's what you're going to be surveilled on from now on when they actually, after they remove the x-ray machines, and they can do it covertly. Because now you don't know that you're being surveyed. These cameras, what they do is they take like maybe 5,000 cameras, maybe 50,000, these little tiny cameras, and they put them in one pod. And then it makes the pixels like 1 million pixels or something, and they can pick apart every movement of your body. They can, I mean, every camera can zoom in on a different part. And what they do is, then they have the software and the hardware, of course, the computers, that can analyze, you know, maybe stress patterns. Maybe a person's walking in the airport and they're breathing heavy, they're perspiring. They can pick up all of that. These cameras on one individual, maybe 500, 600 different movements of the body you can probably pick up at once. And these movements have been profiled by, you know, for years and years and years. And it probably started in Israel. But, excuse me, my guess, my boot, man, my boot, my gear shifter. It suck. All my survival gear. It's beautiful out here. But now you're going to have all these cameras, and they're probably already been installed. They were probably the same companies that installed the x-ray machines, owned by the same people up there on Capitol Hill, 535 major investors and their friends and family. If you want to get rich, you don't have to back, but I don't even know where my phone is. I'll get that in a few minutes. Now, I lost my train of thought, but these cameras can pick up, now so when the older white or black woman that's typically American, they're not bomb people, they're not terrorists, you know, but they have to be randomly selected now because of the rules, because they don't want to profile anybody, okay? So now with the cameras, it'll be all covertly. They'll have these cameras mounted everywhere. From the time you're probably driving into the airport, which you probably have now, you know, from the stoplights and the cameras on the poles by the intersections, until the time you walk in through the parking area, through the tunnels, and onto the concourse and through the gates, you know, by the time you get through the gate, you have been thoroughly scrutinized. They know your every movement. They have already determined whether or not you are some kind of person of interest. Now, a person that may be perspiring, have lumps in his body that shouldn't be there, for a person comparable weight, comparable height, and everything else, and then they're going to have, and you know, then they can detect things like lumps, they can detect things like walking funny, maybe you got something between your legs, and they're going to have these mats, which you probably already have now. And these specialized mats are just little sensors. You walk over them and they can sense, you know, all kinds of millions of different chemicals and bomb-making materials. They can separate that from the chemicals already in your plastics and the rubber that's in your shoes. And they can detect other things too, drugs. So they can detect a lot of things. This is going to take care of everything. Drug smuggling, they can make money off that. You know, some stupid kid trying to get a joint, you know, from one state to the next state in his pocket, you know, and all of a sudden, man, he's paying thousands of dollars in fines. And that's what they're going to do. And the sweet thing is these people, these investors, the same investors that invest in the gun companies, believe me, there's not many privately owned gun companies anymore. They're all owned by the same freedom group. They're the same people on Capitol Hill. They make policy. You know, they tell you they're going to take away the guns and people buy millions of guns. It's sweet. How can you get much better? The only thing better than that is wars, because you can only use a missile or a bullet one time. Man, and you can just make millions of them. Components and stuff, especially the sophisticated missiles that we use, the guidance systems and things like that, man, that's big money. You can make a ton of money off war if you're the right person in the right place at the right time, which seems to be in Washington, D.C., Wall Street, and other places. But let me get back to the airports. And this is what they'll do. It'll be biometrics, the study of the function of the body, and that's what they'll do. They have studied this, and you will be photographed, scrutinized, dissected. But on the good hand, if you're not guilty, you won't have to be subject to any kind of random searches or invasive procedures that may increase the people traveling on the airports. I mean, maybe people don't do that so much anymore, and because of the invasiveness and the unknown radiation dangers that might be involved in the x-ray machines themselves. And they can probably get rid of some of the TSA people. They're not going to need them anymore. Just have security, maybe private security, and they'll be plainclothes security. And this is the island. It's very beautiful out here. But don't think things are going to get better. Don't think you're going to have more freedoms, because when they do one thing, take one thing away, it's going to be even worse the next time. Now, what they're going to do is, I was going to say, the sweet thing is they can take these x-ray machines that are in the airports now, and they can sell them to third world countries, or Mexico or Brazil or other countries where they really couldn't initially afford to put these things in their airports. Okay, come on. But now they can afford to put the x-ray machines, say, in Mexico City, all the South American countries, other countries that were too poor. They can buy second-hand ones from America. We'll go down there and set them up for them. Can you imagine? We have chickens and goats going through the x-ray machines. That'd be cool. All right, just wanted to mention that. Beautiful day on the island. It's very cold. Stuck out.